Hey guys, what's going on? Back for another real-time raid analysis video. My name is Codiak, and today we are looking at Trilliax on normal and heroic difficulties. Now, the first thing I want you to notice about this fight, it is in a circular room, and the first thing you're going to notice is that we lost off the top here. We want to soak as much damage into Trilliax right off the bat as possible. Now, for any of you who are joining us for the first time for a real-time analysis video, you'll know that this is not a complete guide, but more of a real-time snapshot of the fight. The first thing I want you to notice is the purple pools that are put on the ground right there. Now you'll see toxic slice on the middle of my screen. Those spawn cakes around the room, and as one of the more mobile range DPS players, I want to make sure I'm going out of my way to get those cakes. I will get 2 debuffs. I'll get a damage debuff and a slowing debuff. The key to this, guys, is to eat as much of those cakes as often as possible. Specifically when you get up to the heroic and the mythic difficulties, this gets really challenging because it does do a lot of damage to players, and it does do a lot of damage to your raid team if they're not taken care of properly. Now the boss is about to transition into the Maniac phase here, and the first thing that's going to happen is something called Arcing Bonds. Now I won't be able to see the Arcing Bonds in this fight because I'm not targeted, but the key to that, guys, is getting really close to your target. The more spread apart you are, the more damage you take. Now in about 3 seconds here, the boss is about to jump in the room, and the key to this is getting into position, using a stampeding roar, using any kind of seed that we just used a stamp roar there, and avoiding the laser beam. As you can tell, we're all clumped around the middle. There isn't a lot of purple pools on the ground. The purple pools do spawn from your raid team, so you do want to be really careful. The key to this one is just not dying. It is not, I mean, you should never die to this mechanic. Full disclosure. Now the boss just switched into the Caretaker mode, and the Caretaker mode is really cool because he drops these things called Succulent Feasts. There they are. You want to make sure that your most mobile ranged classes can handle those Succulent Feasts. As you can tell, I just ran over one of those. Now you cannot use Succulent Feast if you have the stuffed debuff. Now it's great because I also got the Sterilize debuff. As you can tell, my character is pulsing out AoE damage, and what the Sterilize actually does is it drains the mana from these scrubbers around the room. The Sterilize is one of the keys to this fight, guys. As you can tell, there was a cake that was not soaked there. The scrubbers are exploding like crazy. Luckily, I have the Succulent Feast on me, so it is not an issue. I'm going to hit all 3 of these here. I did pop my turtle there just to make sure I didn't die. We're not doing a great job of sterilizing these ads. Now, the sterilization is key because the scrubbers, the longer they're up without any problems, the more of the arcane seepage they'll take out from the room. And again, guys, the key to this fight is the cakes. As you can see, our team is trying to eat the cakes as best as possible, but the boss just transitioned into the Maniac phase again, which means raid-wide damage from its mana rupture ability. In about 5 seconds here, we're going to have another annihilation. As you can tell, we did not do a very good job of keeping the center area clear. He's about to jump. Hopefully we have another cooldown. There you go. You just saw that we got another stamp roar. And again, you want to pre-position yourself. At about 3 seconds to the annihilation, you want to make sure you're in position to handle that mechanic. During the heroic fights, and specifically the mythic fights, the laser beam does move rather quickly, and he will often change direction of the laser beam. So really keep your head on a pivot. Make sure you're paying attention to where the boss is. Now in heroic difficulties, he just switched back into the Caretaker phase. You see that more Succulent Feasts are coming out. I will most likely be grabbing one here. I'm not sure if I'm going to. Doesn't look like I am because we're so close to the boss being killed. If you are going to disregard the Succulent Feasts, you do want to make sure that your sterilized targets are taking care of the scrubbers and that any cakes are being picked up. As you can tell, one of the targets here is right next to the ad. We're trying to put as much damage into the boss as possible. Looks like we're having a little bit of difficulty. Some ads got off. We've got cakes here that aren't being soaked. This one's about to explode. There's 3 of them on the left side of the screen now. I'm going to jump on one of them. Hopefully I won't die here. Let's see what happens. Now, you can soak these scrubbers if you have more than, I would say, 50-60% health. This was not the cleanest kill by any stretch of the imagination, but it does give you kind of an idea of how things can quickly get out of hand. As you can see, our healers are pulling relatively high numbers, so it is a great fight and a great example to see how it quickly can derail, specifically on the mythic difficulty when you get up there. The cakes, if not soaked properly, will instantly wipe your raid because of an ability called Cleansing Rage. Now, once the boss transitions out of the Caretaker phase into the Maniac phase and cakes are up, he does something called Cleansing Rage, and this does a ton of damage to your raid team. So guys, the key to this fight is relatively simple. Sterilize the scrubbers and eat the cakes. if there's anything you take away from the video, that is it. Look at some of the portions, scrub back, see what we did poorly, where we could have improved upon, and this, I guarantee you, will help your raid team out. If you do have any questions about Trilliax on normal, heroic, or mythic difficulties, please leave me a comment in the description below. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Please like and subscribe to the channel. But for now, my name is Codiak, raid leader for Exiled Power. We will see you next time.